Hi, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to use Selenium in Visual Studio's xUnit to test a web page. The web page I'm going to test in particular is built in ASP.NET MVC and it's running locally as opposed to online. The change is minimal. Change your URL from a local URL to a web URL and it's good to go. Alright, so let me show you the page we're going to test. This is called Henry Practice 2 and I'm on the Books and Costs site. What I want to test, if I click on Edit, the word Venice is here. Likewise, when I click on Details, Venice in there. Oops, I didn't want to delete that. Details. So that's what I want to check. I want to check to make sure that clicking on one of those links takes me to the right page and the right information is there. It's called a functionality test. Alright, so I'm going to get my URL, and I'm going to keep this website running. Now, I have this running in a separate version of Visual Studio Code, so I started up a new entry of Visual Studio. And I'll create a brand new project. You can do this in the same project. I just find it gets really clunky to have the xUnit test and the ASP running at the same time out of the same project. Alright, so create a new project. And I'm going to find xUnit test project. Make sure you pick C#, all platforms, and test up here. And then you're going to pick an xUnit test project. I'm going to call it tests, ASP Selenium. And I'll put it on my videos folder. Doesn't matter where you put it. I just like to keep my stuff together. Pick your framework. It really doesn't matter here because I'm not doing much of it, but I'll pick with 6. And I'll wait till it chugs. Okay, so while this is chugging, I'm going to remind you that in xUnit we have tests are denoted by either a fact or a theory. A fact is one test, one piece of data, one test. A theory are several pieces of data with several tests. I'm going to do both here. Okay. Right, now I also need to install Selenium. So I'm going to use the tools, NuGet Package Manager. I like the man, and I don't like to do in the console. And I'm going to search for Selenium.WebDriver. Get this guy. Install the latest stable. If it gives you grief, run back a step until it works. Okay, and also going to search for Selenium.WebDriver.ChromeDriver. Again, install it. 98 is very important. When you look at Chrome, I go here to Help About Chrome. It's currently 98. Make sure they match. If they don't match, this won't work. If you don't like using Chrome, you can choose the Edge driver or whatever other driver you want. You see Firefox is here, Chrome. There's a bunch of them. Okay, so we should have them installed. Yep, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium Web Chrome driver. Good. All right, so let's go write some tests. So I'm going to do public void test. So I'm going to test the detail shows the right title. So put your URL in, and this could be local, remote, wherever you want it to be. Link up the Chrome driver. And I need an import for this. So let's come up, let's add a couple of imports. I need openqa.selenium using openqa.selenium.chrome. And sometimes you need this one. Okay, so if you've done Selenium testing before, you know we need to, as Visual Studio is helping me here, we need to navigate to my URL. We need to click on the links or do whatever it is we need to do, and then we need to test. So I'll take the help. And now I'm going to pull off of the screen the information I'm worried about. I'm going to need to know what that data is. So if I come back to here, and let's say I want to look at deepness in the sky. If I inspect this, the mean programmer that put this together didn't give it any IDs. So, finding that can be a challenge. So I need to get an XPath. So I'm going to copy full XPath. And if we look at that, HTML, body, div, main, table, tbody, tr1, td1. That might change on your screen, but that's pretty close. That takes me right through the body. So it starts at HTML, then goes to body, then I have a div there, then I've got a main section inside the div, and then I create a table inside there, and then a table body, and then the very first row. So I'm going to use that to get that title. I'm going to use iWeb element, book title. Driver, of course, is the web page, is the browser. Find elements. Selenium works the same in all languages, Python, C#, Java. All that changes is the names of these objects and how they handle the bys. If you know how it works in one and you're flexible enough to take a look at the drops and pick the right cases, you'll be okay. So I'm going to pull the text out. You saw in the drops there I can get attributes like CSS property. Now I want to click on that detail link. And so let's go get that detail link. Sometimes it's challenging. Here we go. Right click, inspect. And it's this details link. So I'm going to right click the details link. Again, I'm going to copy the full XPath. Full XPath always works. I've never had a scenario where full XPath didn't find the object I wanted. First row, fourth TD, second link. Pretty cool. Now I'm going to click it. Now, sometimes there's a lag, sometimes there's a pause. This particular page reaches out to Azure and pulls information back off of Azure website. And sometimes there's a little delay there. So I'm going to put a little delay here. I'm going to use WebDriver wait. Wait for 5 seconds. There's plenty of time. Azure's, even though I've paid for the cheapest version of Azure there, it's still pretty quick. And I'm going to wait until and a particular object appears. And I need to go get that XPath. So that's going to occur when I do this, when I click on details. This appears. That delete appears. Oh, I don't want to delete. I keep hitting delete instead of details. Inspect. So I want details. Copy the full XPath. And I'm finding that first H1. There are other ways. I could have searched for by text. I could have searched by link. If I had an ID, I could search for it, but full XPath always works. Okay, so what these 2 lines of code do is going to pause until that particular object appears on the screen. If after 5 seconds it doesn't appear, it times out. So once it's there, I'm going to do web elements, detail title. Again, find element by XPath. Had I created some IDs, I could use them, but I didn't. So it should have the right XPath. We'll find out. Looks good to me. So I'm going to start equal that the title is equal to the detail title. I'm going to run all tests. Get the really nice Test Explorer to pop up. Okay, so we have test pass. Well, see our website stays open. That's a glitch. So let's close it. All right, so it works for 1. That's a fact test. So if you were happy with that, we'll be done. But I don't like testing just one thing, because sometimes weird things happen. So I'm going to test 3. So I'm going to convert this to a theory. Okay, what that's going to entail is it's going to entail me changing where I'm looking. So instead of just looking for that first book, I'm going to choose 3 books at random. I'm going to go 5, 7, 9. Let's go prime. Almost prime anyway. So I'm not going to use a fact anymore. Use a theory. In my 3 details, if you look around in my YouTube channel, I have a video that does this. Just look in my software testing channel and you'll see it. So I'm passing in 5, 7, and 9. I have to put that parameter here. So what will occur is I'll get 3 tests. It'll test row 5, row 7, row 9. I have to modify this. In particular, what needs to change is this TR can no longer be just 1. It has to be my row num. Likewise here, this TR can no longer be 1. It has to be row num. And I'm going to do it with string formats. And I'll do this ugly right here inside the XPath. So I'm going to replace this with the curly zeros for the placeholder, and then a comma, row num. Likewise down here. String.format. Replace the tr with curly 0, the placeholder. Put row num there. Okay, so same test, but now I'm doing it 3 times. Look, 5, 7, and 9. Let's see if I got it right. I don't want to run that. Let's do a test. Run all tests. Open up our test explorer. See, now it says 3 testing group. 1, 2, 3. All 3 tests pass. We're good. Let's see what happens when we generate an error. I know there's only like 20 or 30 books here, so I'm going to look at row 900. One, 2, 3. It's real angry. It's waiting for that element to appear. It can't because it doesn't exist. When we look at that object, 900 fails. No such element. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I know my test is clean. So you saw a fact, you saw a theory, and you saw how to demonstrate that we can test an ASP website or any website using xUnit. Thanks. Good luck.